Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, episode number 54 today for the French Grand Prix in Season 3. If you guys did miss the previous one, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Getting into this though, this episode, we finally do have the results of your guys' vote, and you guys did vote for a majority of the durability side of the HQ, and obviously in hindsight and irony, Verstappen had a DNF last episode, so, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to say much needed. I don't know, because I'm recording this commentary a little bit ahead of time, ahead of the weekend, so I don't know what you guys have said, apart from last episode, but I'm guessing it was about I told you so, upgrade the durability. We are going to, but I still maintain it's not because I've not upgraded the facilities or whatever that he's had the DNF, because we've done quite a lot of quiet work on the durability, but we go ahead and purchase all three upgrades there, apart from resource generation, because I'm not going to be buying those for any departments, because it's going to make the entire career mode way too skewed. Like, you're just going to be able to generate way too many R&D points, and we're going to basically ruin the entire series in later seasons if we have too much easy generation of R&D points, essentially. So we're just going to stick with those three upgrades. But yeah, I mean, we have done some quiet work. You guys haven't seen it, because I haven't ever told you guys about it, but I've been secretly buying upgrades here and there, and all of them have mostly been about durability. You can see you've got an ultimate durability pending. We've got the ultimate chassis brakes update, which will definitely come in this episode, because of that failed last episode. But yeah, I just haven't told you guys about those upgrades we've been buying in the background, but they've mostly all been durability upgrades. The durability of the parts we've got the engine has still been a little bit iffy here and there, and actually one of them fails. The ultimate one I had going failed actually here, so we have to rebuy that. The brakes update does come through, but we have to wait one more episode for that ultimate upgrade on the durability side of things. But at least the chassis upgrades come in, so under braking potentially we could be a little bit harder and faster in some of those corners around Paul Ricard. We're going to go ahead and purchase some more upgrades on the HQ, because I can turn this into a Spec 3 facility by the time we get through to next episode. So we really have put the money where your guys' mouths are for the vote, and we've really invested quite highly in the durability side. So no arguments there. We've carried out the board of directors' wishes to the fullest extent. Going into Paul Ricard then, we upgrade, of course, the ultimate upgrade on the chassis puts us over the line, where now the R&D graph has grown, and we're now in the range of 900 to 1,000 on the performance index. We've got Ferrari with a small upgrade, so we could see them be a little bit better. France, even though it's got a long back straight, it's a very technical circuit, so don't be surprised if Red Bull are pretty good around here. But, you know, McLaren, Ocon, 2 wins in a row, and we come to a third race. It's his home Grand Prix, and as I said a lot of the time last episode, I think there's a big overriding, you know, form when AI win back-to-back races or just get into a rhythm. So Ocon could be quite deadly around here at his home GP as well. And we'll have to see about, obviously, Ferrari with that upgrade, where they're going to place and if they can stop them, because Leclerc was in second place, but he was trailing Ocon by quite a fair bit at Canada. And then, of course, for us, I mean, we had a pretty strong race, actually, all things considered, to get third place, really, from where we were in the race. So I was quite happy about the pace we showed at Canada. So can we try and carry forward that momentum into Paul Ricard? We jumped right into Q1, getting some toe off Latifi there on the back straight. But again, as has been the case since the game started, especially on this year's game compared to previous ones at Paul Ricard, the last sector I am so bad at compared to the AI. They just rotate the car so quick through the left and right, whereas I just can't get the nose turned in. Saying that, we actually do beat Verstappen in Q1, which is a surprise, but I doubt we'll be beating him in Q2 and Q3, especially in Q3 when it really matters, let's be real. And going into Q2, we actually have another system fault. So even though we're upgrading durability now, we're still getting faults in the season in the middle of qualifying.
Okay, hope you brought something to read today. There's an issue in the fuel system. We don't think it's anything terminal, but it is going to take some time to investigate and repair.
So that issue comes about. It's kind of a pattern almost, because we didn't get it really that much in Season 2, I don't think. We got it in Season 1 a few times, where we had these faults coming in qualifying quite consistently over a few rounds. It's kind of happening again in this season. But yeah, we have to sit this out then for, it was 7 minutes. So in Q2, that's a bit more on the collar in terms of we only have time pretty much for one run, because by the time I finish this lap, there'll just maybe be enough time if you went straight in and straight out for another lap. So essentially, we've only got this one run. It's very overcast now as well. The sun was out in the first part of Q2, so that's a little bit worrying. Hopefully the track conditions being a little bit colder maybe don't affect things too much as we come through then. It was a pretty tidy lap, I felt, so let's just see a big run to the line. The finish line's there, and we're up into P4, that is, and again, to my surprise, we beat Verstappen. I don't know what's going on, because I genuinely am adamant I am going to be slow around here. Like, I don't know what's going on. Verstappen's just saving himself, I'm sure, because I really expected him to be beating us, but so far, we've beaten him twice now. Ricciardo, interesting, is the only man in Q2 here that's managed to get through on a set of medium tyres, so that's going to put him in a big advantage, actually. Ricciardo, with that strategy in Q2, he may just have set himself up for a race win, because it's so much stronger to do a one-stop from mediums to the hard tyres here around France, because the traffic is so difficult to get past, especially for the AI here around this circuit on the two-stop, which you have to go to, really, from a set of soft tyres, unless you really want to try and risk that first stint, really stretch it out for the hard tyres. So Ricciardo could be in the money here, even though he looks a little bit slow now, but obviously that's because he's used a harder compound of tyres in this part of qualifying. So look out for Ricciardo come race day, and actually look out for him and how he does in this qualifying session, because if he gets towards the sharp end, you know, even top 5 for Ricciardo would do him quite nicely, to be honest, if he's on medium. So we may just have already decided the race winner already here in qualifying, maybe, I don't know. But let's see how it goes now for us in the top 10 shootout. Like I said, I'm adamant Verstappen will come out of his shell now. He's been toying with us, and he'll show us his true pace. We come through. It's been, I would say, I thought it was a good lap, P3 there. At the moment, Verstappen is on pole position, so like I said, the true Verstappen came through. But our car is actually just quite quick, so it doesn't matter how slow I am around this circuit. The car is just so good. Purple second sector, red first though, but only by a bit. So we've actually improved on this lap time somewhat, but through the last 2 corners, pretty slow. We carry that slow speed through the entire last part, and we go 1/10 less here to finish up in 3rd place. But Max Verstappen, like I said, we'll come out of his shell and we'll get pole position by 3/10, 6/10 to me, you know, or 6.5. So yeah, finally he actually showed his actual true pace there, and that's how slow I am at Paul Ricard compared to my 100 rated or nearly 100 rated teammate of Verstappen. But look at Ricciardo. What did I say? Top 5, and he's in the money. P2. I think he's got a very good chance of winning this race now. Surprised to see De Vries up in P4, doing a banging job in Ferrari to outqualify his more senior teammate Leclerc down in P7, so he should be very proud of that. And the 2 McLarens, very slow. I guess maybe they're really poor in Sector 3 and Sector 1, because Sector 2 is the place where I suggest they would probably gain a lot of time on the straights, but Sector 1 and 3 are very technical around here, so they're on the back foot. Ocon maybe isn't going to get that glamorous 3 in a row, and it may be a battle between ourselves and the Red Bull car, eventually. Let's go to the grid and find out. But happy days. I think this could be a very strong race weekend for the entire team.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard, current home of the French Grand Prix, an event dating all the way back to 1906. It's been held at many venues over the years, with famous moments from Dijon and Manicourt the feature of many a highlights reel. And let's hope we see more of those in the race today. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have the owner driver, De Vries, Carlos Sainz, and Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris, Ocon, and Daniel Kvyat, Bottas, Gasly, Sergio Perez, and Albon, Stroll, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Jack Aitken. Matsushita, Grosjean, Latifi, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright, so race day, and like I said, race strategy for us and a lot of other people are going to be a 2-stop, soft tyre to 2 sets of mediums. Ricciardo, he's starting on mediums, he's going to go to hard tyres and do a 1-stop, so I really think he's got a very good opportunity to win this race, unless our pace is as electric as Verstappen's was, maybe not my pace in qualifying, and we can try and outrace him with the 2-stop, which could be possible if we don't get caught up in traffic, but that's a big if today. But it is possible. We just need to be very quick in this first part of the race and get basically a big enough gap and come out in that clean air slot and just not get held up in those crucial first stages of the medium tyres. But here we go then to 5 red lights to the French Grand Prix, and we are underway straight away there. FIA wasting no time at all with the lights out. It's a great start for us, a decent one for Ricciardo to be fair, on the slower tyre into turn 1, trying down the inside, little bit of contact with Ricciardo, getting some PTSD from what happened at Canada, I'm sure, in his cockpit there, as he's tapped and he doesn't get spun around, thankfully. This time, we cover off De Vries, who's actually pretty damn quick in that Ferrari, and Hamilton, you know, in the Mercedes car. We didn't talk too much about Mercedes the entire episode, but Hamilton, not too bad. P5 at the moment, doing a very good job, but let's see if he can hold that for 27 laps. But at the moment, Verstappen then holds the lead. For a brief moment, I thought Ricciardo may have been able to get him, but he's held that through, and he's already got a decent gap, and we are now looking to have an absolute beautiful slipstream on the Australian. On the outside, he gives us a good old fight on the exit. We're going to have to give him the space on the outside there. It's still wheel to wheel, literally side by side there, tyre wall to tyre wall, that was on the exit, but in the end, we're going to get that run, use the ERS as well, and De Vries is even going to get a good toe off us, and the Ferrari Junior on the inside, and he's going to overtake the Red Bull car. So Ricciardo now, after a great start, slow on the medium tyres, but it doesn't matter, because he has a whole pit stop advantage on us, so the race is not over for him. It's only just getting started, but for us, De Vries looking quick, and he's overtaking us on the outside there. We have to try and just back out there and try and recompose ourselves, because that was never going to work on the inside. We're going to get pinched on into the apex. So the Ferrari, I mean, he set the purple lap time so far. He's quicker than Verstappen right now. I don't know what on earth he's had in his morning breakfast this morning, but he's much faster than his more senior teammate, and let's be real, faster teammate Leclerc all this time, but he is absolutely on one today, so he's absolutely flying. But Verstappen equally, to be fair, he's got a great healthy lead right now, about 3.5 seconds. Lap number 5 comes through, we're going to come in as well as the Ferrari man. Verstappen continues on, so it's an early pit stop for us, trying to get an undercut. Of course, this is the first of 2 pit stops we're going to make today, so we need to get a move on and hopefully get into some clean air, and crucially, we need to slice through any traffic we get, because that's the only chance we'll have of racing Ricciardo today. Even Verstappen is going to have that issue. He's going to have to try and slice through traffic, because that is honestly how much of an advantage you get from making one less pit stop here at Paul Ricard. So as we look on the left-hand side, the mini-map, a load of cars go through, including 2 Williams cars, Alfa Romeos, and that's pretty much the group we're going to have to cut through. So there is a fair bit of traffic there. Verstappen, I think he might come out right in the middle of that, so he needs to really pick up the pace in these last few laps of his in-lap, and hope that he comes out just ahead of that group, which he might, because I think that's about 3 seconds to the start of that train there, so he might be actually quite lucky, and we've been the one that's a little bit unlucky coming on the other side of it, as well as De Vries, who you can see is just getting held up so much. I'm also holding up Ocon in the McLaren there as he tries to go around the outside. Obviously, one of the home favourites on the grid we've got, obviously Gasly and Grosjean still present in this career mode save of ours, but so far not a great home GP for him, coming off the back of 2 home wins. He goes for a move, we defend very aggressively to the inside there. He has a look around the outside, we tap on the outside there, he gets it through, but we're going to hold it through the exit and say no to Ocon here. Yes, he's had the glory of the last 2 race wins, but not having any of that. We want this position right now because I want to set myself up, because I'm just licking my lips right now at the prospect of what we've got ahead of us, which is a load of cars that are much slower. They're on medium tyres that are already 7 laps old. We can get De Vries. He's going to get stuck behind the traffic. Let's be fair. He's an AI. He's going to find it tough to overtake. He goes for a move on Latifi, ironically, as I say that. But you're going to see he's going to find it difficult to actually get the move done, potentially. They're still side by side. Latifi, we have a go on the outside because I tried to make some space work on the left. Didn't work out. Probably a stupid place to make a pass there. And now I have to re-defend against Ocon using some overtake mode. De Vries is still having a nip at Latifi, but the Canadian is holding on. Meanwhile, Sainz goes for a move on Ocon. We get inspired, and it's a beautiful overtake on the inside of Latifi and De Vries. We've taken candy from a baby. That was so smooth. That might be one of the best overtakes I've made this entire season. I know it's against a Williams car holding up a Ferrari, but just the nature of that corner, it's such a hard place to pass, and just the smoothness of that pass was just something I was surprised at myself in the cockpit once I actually got the move done. But yeah, so moves flying off all over the gaff. Sainz gets Ocon, we get the TV to Prix and also George Russell, and we're going to look to make a diving move on Matsushita in the Renault into turn 1, and we're really using that good braking update to good use. I can feel the brake update. I really did into turn 1 there. The darkness of this car on the front end, just so much sharper. Finally, I feel a bit more confident in the front end and under braking, and we're using that to good effect. Got Aiken, no issue on the exit of the first few corners, and now lining up a pass on Romain Grosjean. This has been a whole lap of just attack, 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 and we're going to finish that off. P7, a lot of clean air, and now we push on and try and chase after the 2 Racing Point cars who are right now ahead of Verstappen. So Verstappen did actually jump everyone and found himself a nice pocket of clean air, but he's going to have to try and get past those Racing Point cars now, and that's going to help Ricciardo just a little bit. Even if a little bit, it's going to help him out. But we are going to close up lap number 12 now to Stroll ahead of us. You can see Perez and Albon, so Verstappen is already down the road on the minimap, you can see, so he's got some grey pace, Max has, to be fair. So if anyone's going to take a 2-stop fight to Ricciardo, it might be him. For us, can we just get through this traffic and get back up into at least P3 of this Grand Prix on the outside of the Canadian in the Racing Point? Easy does it there. Nice swoop on the outside, and now trying to line up a pass maybe in Sector 3. Will Albon attack Perez? If those two try and attack each other, maybe I can try and catch both of them napping somewhat as we come through. I was thinking about the same sort of pass I made on De Vries in the Williams car, but alas, this time round, just don't have the oomph quite, or maybe I do on the inside. It's very late, and we shove Albon through. I'm not going to lie, that was a very, very aggressive overtake. But we've not exactly had the best relationship with Albon on circuit in the last few episodes, so I'll just take it. But Perez comes in. Ironically, I didn't need to make that pass because Albon's going to come in. So typical fashion. They come in on the lap I was going to overtake them, and so we're going to come through now up into P2 as it is. Verstappen in P1, so it's a 1-2 for aarava Archer Racing, but that's because Ricciardo has now just made his first pit stop and only pit stop in this Grand Prix for the hard tyres. So now he's going to the end. Me and Verstappen are making one more stop. So at this stage now, lap 13, we've got just over half of this Grand Prix to go. I start to think, Verstappen, he's got the pace on me. I'm not getting first place today. Verstappen, he had a DNF last episode. I felt really bad. I was fed up about it. Why don't we try and repay him? Why don't we try something clever and try sometimes what they do in real life? Keep your second driver out for too long, make an illogical long stint to try and hold up your competitors. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try and stop on purpose here. So I'm going to have the straight line speed against Ricciardo. We'll then try and lift and coast through the corners. Basically be a nuisance and a mobile chicane. No, I'm not going to do anything illegal here. I'm just going to be a nuisance in the corners. Obviously, it's his prerogative to come and overtake me. If he can't overtake me, he can't overtake me. So we're just going to defend for our lives and try and slow him down as best we can. So you can see into Sector 3, easy does it. He goes around the outside. If he's got the grip, overtake me, lad. But he can't because it's quite difficult to pass around Paul Ricard. And so I'm going to try my best to just build that gap for Verstappen. And not so that he can jump in when he makes the second pit stop, but give him a chance to close up on fresh mediums and get that first place fair and square. So we come through, it's 10 laps to go now. Verstappen is pitting this lap. We've got the gap, I think it was 15 seconds or 13 seconds, a pretty decent margin we got to Verstappen. We're going to continue on. Technically, I think our pit stop window is opening on this lap, I think, onto lap 18 or 19. But we're going to carry on. Like I said, do what they do in real life sometimes. Leave the second driver out for illogically long. It makes no sense apart from the fact they want to hold up their competitors. And we're just going to firm it, and we're just going to slow Ricciardo up even more, help Verstappen out, and then come in, and then we'll just fly on a fresh set of mediums and come back through for P3. Because either way, I was going to get P3. I would rather the team get a 1-3 than a 2-3. Either way, I'm number 3. May as well get Verstappen the number 1 than number 2. So if you've ever thought I don't like my teammates, I always crash with them, I always get in the muck with them, here's a good example. Sometimes when it's fair, when it's just, I will help my teammate out. I will do what I can for the team. I'm not in a position to win this race. Verstappen is, and I feel bad for him with the DNF. Obviously, there have been times previously in the season where a few of you guys have maybe criticised me for not working with Verstappen, when we're 1-2 at Spain and I was fighting him. But in that instance, we've both got a good chance to win, so I am always going to fight him because it's fair and square racing. That's what it's all about. I'm not going to play around with him and just DRS train him, because that would be so dull, so boring for the series. And also, that's just not me. That's just not how I go about playing an F1 game. Even if it's for camera, for you guys for a series, or if I was just playing this off camera, that's how I never play an F1 game like that. That's just abusing the mechanics of a video game of, oh, I can just sit in the DRS of an AI teammate, and that's how we're just going to get an easy 1-2. I'd rather actually go out there, try my hardest, try and win. If it doesn't work out, we slow each other up. It happens, because it happens with AI. We've seen it. How many times have AI been battling for first place and second? I'm in third, and I've caught up to them because they're battling too hard. That's the whole point of racing. That's what you do. So, yeah, that's my take on that. That's like my little hot take on the whole matter, because I've seen a few comments about that. But in this instance, you know, this was the right thing to do. Like I said, I was kind of annoyed that he had that DNF at Canada. He deserved better. He deserved at least a podium, I would say, at Canada. So let's get him the win. He can get it. I can't. I can only get P3, but we're flying on these mediums, I must say. They felt so much better than the older mediums, obviously. But here we go. Nice little move here on Bottas. I must say, Bottas doing an amazing job in the murk here. On the outside, though, look at the grip we have. God-tier grip on these new mediums, but fair play to Bottas in this donkey of a Mercedes he's had this season. I think Hamilton, by the way, he was in P5, remember? I'm not even joking. I think he's retired at this Grand Prix. So they're having an absolute mare. Hamilton's having a shocker season. But, yeah, Bottas, to be in P4, fair play to him. He's doing a really good job of carrying that Mercedes team pretty much on his back. Very much unlike in real life. But we're on lap number 22 onto 23. We're very quick. We've set a purple first sector, green second. Across the line, it's going to be the fast lap of the Grand Prix. I felt pretty good about that. Nicking 1 point away from Verstappen and maybe Ricciardo potentially. Although I thought so, because as we get to the end of the Grand Prix, Verstappen is actually going to turn up his engine and nick the fast lap away from me again. So he's going to get the 1 point unless this last sector is good, because we set another purple first sector, green second on the last lap of the Grand Prix. But you guys know I'm very bad around the last sector, and here I hit a wash of understeer there, so I don't think the fast lap is going to be mine. But Max Verstappen wins again in Season 3. It's his second win for the team, the second win this season for him, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy I've helped him out there in that regard. Great team play. Instead of a 2-3, it was a 1-3, and Ricciardo, obviously, he's going to be kicking himself. They didn't make the most of it, but, you know, obviously, he didn't foresee me coming. He didn't foresee aarava racing with the strategy plays there. Great day for the team. Double podium, and that's honestly the max we could have hoped for. I was never going to get Ricciardo if I just pushed flat out. Never. 1-3, best we could hope for. Driver of the day, Bottas. I agree with that. He's done a great job for Mercedes there.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
So after a long while, it's great to see someone in those overalls lifting the first place trophy on the podium there. Great to see 2 sets on the podium as well as our man representative on the left-hand side there as well, picking up the Constructors' Trophy for today's race. The winner, Paul Ricard. It feels pretty damn sweet. I actually feel very good about helping Verstappen out there. I hope you guys did enjoy that bit of teamwork. It's very rare for me to work as a well-oiled machine, my teammate, I will admit. So hopefully that was something you guys like to see. But in terms of the standings then, after that Grand Prix, like I said, Hamilton, you can see he's not in the top 10, so he DNF'd out of the Grand Prix. Again, he had a shocker. So we maintain our lead, and we grow it now to just at 20 points now to Leclerc. So back up to a really healthy cushion there. Verstappen solidifies P3 instead of slipping down the order. Constructors-wise, we're looking very good. Red Bull up in P2, obviously from last episode as well, ahead of Ferrari. Leclerc had a very quiet race today, very, very odd for him, as well as McLaren as well. So it'll be interesting to see how everyone shapes up in the next race, because now this race is basically throwing the form book out the window, because we looked like the team on the back foot for a few races, but now we just come out there and kept swinging. So it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top and who looks best in qualifying next episode at the start of that. But guys, if you did enjoy this one, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.